Billy Bunny and the Bear Cubs. You remember in the last story what a dreadful time Mrs. Bruin had to get away from the stinging bees, and how, if it had not been for dear, kind Uncle Lucky, she never would have gotten away? Well, the bees were soon left far behind, for the automobile went very fast, and by they came to Mrs. Bruin's cave. So she invited the two little rabbits in, for by this time everybody was hungry, and the two little bears were almost starved. Now, Mrs. Bruin had a big closet where she kept all sorts of nice things to eat. And before long, cake and milk and lettuce leaves and apple pie were on the table, and the feast commenced. And after that, they wound up the graphophone and heard a lovely song, which I'm going to tell you because it was so pretty. And this is the way the words went, and you can make up any kind of music to go with it if you wish. Bye, oh bye, little bear cub, in your cave on the windy hill, safe in the care of dear Mother Bear, cuddle up tight and be still. Father is out in the woods, and soon he will be coming home, safe to baby and me. So cuddle up tight, for the shadows of night are creeping o'er meadow and lea. And do you know those dear little bear cubs went sound asleep and were put to bed without waking up? Wasn't that nice? And that's the way little boys and girls should behave. Never give mother a worry or care, but be good like a dear little fuzzy wool bear. Goodness me! I'm making up poetry myself, only my typewriter didn't make the lines go just the way they should. Well, after this, Billy Bunny and Uncle Lucky got into the automobile and drove away. And by the stars came out, and the big round moon, and they were still far from home. But they didn't care. No siree, ma'am. Billy Bunny hopped out and lit the lamps, and Uncle Lucky turned up his coat collar, for the night wind was chilly. And then they started off again. And by, not so very long, they came to a little hotel called Cuddle Inn. "That's the place for your uncle," said the kind old gentleman rabbit. "Let's inquire," which means to go find out, "if they will take us for the night." So Billy Bunny hopped out and went into the hotel office, and the landlord, who was a nice-looking squirrel with a beautiful gray bushy tail, said, "I have a nice room with 2 beds." And then he put the Lucky Mobile in the barn, and the 2 little rabbits went to sleep before they took off their watches. They were so tired, and if the old cow doesn't blow her horn to wake me up before the morn, I'll tell you in the next story what happened after that. Remember, come back on Friday to hear the story.